Okay, so I want to show you guys some travel hacks and stuff like that also because a lot of people will come to me and be like, Danielle, how can you go away for 6 weeks at a time? It's got to be so expensive and blah, blah, blah. So I'm going to show you some of the things that I do. And then it's a two-part series. So next week, what I'm going to do is take you under the hood of the CRM done by one and really show you how I have it all set up so that things are still running. So, for example, this week alone, I've had three different meetings with three separate people that are wanting to come onto my team at Nexa, and they found me online. So I did not reach out to them at all. I had two closings. I've had many meetings. And so even though I'm in Spain, I'm still running my business, and my business is also still running. Emails are going out. My AI assistant is answering phone calls. So next week, I'm going to take you under the hood of the CRM and kind of show you exactly how it's set up. So let me share my screen with you guys. And I put this in the chat, just I'll bring it up again at the end, but just so that you guys know, we had a special in February for the Done by One CRM, and I'm running that same special in March. So there is in the chat a link if you guys want to check that out. Some of you are already on Done by One, so that's not anything that you would need, but take a look at that if you're interested. And let's hop right in. So, what we're talking about today is how to run your business while traveling the world, right? So, I want to go over with you my whole strategy and how I'm doing this and what the tools are that's needed in order for you to run your business and still go and live your life. This is not for somebody that maybe takes a vacation for 1 week a year, because if you're going on a 1 week, a vacation for 1 week a year, well, then guess what? You should be on vacation. You should not be working. That should be, you should just be focused on having fun. So this is going to go over like if you're thinking about either, and it doesn't need to be vacation. It could be that you have grandkids in another state that you want to go and spend, 3 months with your grandkids or whatever. It's you're wanting to work somewhere else that you're not where you're physically working right now. Can everybody see my screen? I just want to make sure that you guys can see my screen here. Yes. Awesome. Okay, perfect. Okay. So this is, like I said, a two-part series. The first thing that we're going to go over today is basically how to structure your life and business, some travel hacks that I can show you guys on how to save some money on traveling, systems and automation, and what my systems and automation is firing or triggering while I'm not on vacation, but away. And then your AI business operating system and how to use the CRM as your command center so that you're not having to physically do everything. Your CRM is doing a lot of the heavy lifting for you. And then you're maybe a little bit more reactive and just reacting to the leads and deals and things like that coming in. So, I want to talk to you first about how Done by One was born. This was in 2022, and I was in Italy with my family, and we go to Europe in the summer every year for two reasons. The first reason is I live in Florida, and I grew up in Massachusetts, and in Massachusetts, our summers were amazing. They were beautiful. We were outside all the time. We were running around, playing tennis, riding bikes, all the fun stuff. And when I moved to Florida and had kids, my kids were always inside because it was raining or it was lightning and they weren't able to go out, and play with their friends and do their camps were inside. And I was like, this is not a summer for kids. In addition, my husband is from Eastern Europe. He's Bulgarian. So we would go and visit his family in the summer because we don't, really see them. And my kids got to be outside having fun. Yet I was still working, right? But what was happening was I would see them out there having fun, and I was always stuck inside a hotel. Or if we went to the beach, I was bringing my computer because I might have to hop into a cafe to send a pre-approval letter or to, deal with a client or whatever. And I was getting frustrated because I was so reactive in my day. Like I did not really have a plan, and I was always in some hotel room or some cafe by myself. Well, they were all out having fun, and I was like, there has to be a better way. How can I do everything in my business that moves the needle, right, in my business? So I'm still generating income because I'm self-employed, right? So I still need to generate income. So how can I do everything in my business where I'm still generating income and be done by one every day so I can go out and have fun with everybody else, right? So that is how Done by One was born. And I came up with these five pillars of what has to happen in my day. So if you want to adopt the Done by One lifestyle, this is how it is. Um, First is mindset, right? So starting my day with mindset, and I'm going to get into this in a little bit. The second is lead generation and lead follow up. Okay. The third is my sales, marketing, branding, content, all of that stuff. The fourth is working in the business. And when I get into the pillars in a few minutes, I'm going to explain why it's in this order. And then the fifth is lifestyle. So that is how I built the Done by One pillars as well as the Done by One system so that my business keeps running while I am working or living abroad, right? So I grew up in the hustle culture. My parents owned restaurants and they're still working. My dad is 72 years old and still working, probably 50 hours a week. And so the old belief is that, and still a lot of people still believe this, is that you have to choose between building a thriving business or living the life that you want, and that travel is a reward for after you retire. And I know that my family looks at me and thinks I'm crazy, like, how is she doing this? Because they are still working. And yes, they do travel, but they never really traveled right throughout. And a lot of times I see people that don't do things, and I'm using travel as an example, but don't do things that they absolutely love and absolutely want to do because they're stuck in their business. And then guess what? It's too late, right? They don't get around like they used to anymore. Maybe they have back issues. Maybe you've had a dream to always go to Asia, and guess what? You can't fly that long on a flight, right? Maybe you have heart conditions. So I want you to start to think about what it is in your life that you want to do that is a huge passion of yours, and how we can set up your business so that it will allow you to go out and do all of the things that you want to do, right? Because the new reality is that you can have both. You can have the life that you want, do all of the things that you want to do, and have a thriving business. But it's only if you intentionally set up the systems and the automations, have clear processes, and have a structured schedule that works, right? While you're going and living and doing whatever it is that you want to be doing. So the difference between entrepreneurs who travel and those who can't, it's not really income or it's not talent. It's just how your system is set up and how your business is set up. And obviously, this entire presentation is for somebody that is able to work remote. And if you're not able to work remote, and I'll use real estate as an example. I sold real estate for many years, and I had a very difficult time going to Europe in the summer because my business ended up being like this. I was either, like during the summer, I was basically no business because of the way my systems were set up. Now, if I were to sell real estate and I wanted to kind of redo, I was cold calling expireds. So if I were to sell real estate and wanted to travel, I would just need to figure out how I could set up my business and my team so that my business and team can still run even if I'm not there, right? Okay, I'm back now. Okay, good. I know it's been a little bit of a challenge. The US the internet is not like it is when I'm back at home. But anyways, okay, so here are travel hacks for long-term travel if you're trying to go, let's just say 3 or more weeks. And so I want to get into kind of the whole like how you have to think about this. And the first thing is you need to make sure that you're picking the right time zone. So for me, Europe is very easy for me to work in a couple years ago during COVID, I went to California, and California was not easy for me to work in. Now, that doesn't mean that for you it might be very easy. What I didn't like about California is that I am East Coast and the majority of my clients are East Coast. So, when I was in California, I was always behind. If I woke up, people were needed, wanting things from me already for 3 hours, right? And so in California, it became difficult because I was always trying to catch up. Where in Europe, for me, it's perfect because when I wake up, everybody's still sleeping. So I have uninterrupted time to get a lot of my work done, and then once everybody is up around 2 or 3 p.m. my time, I'm still working and still able to get everything done. But at least in the morning, I have my uninterrupted time where I can do my miracle morning, get my, delegations in, answer emails from the night before. Then I can go out and have fun for a little bit and then come back and start working again when people are up in the US. And also, it's siesta time in Spain. It's siesta time in Europe. Most things shut down and they don't really reopen again until at least 7 or 8 o'clock at night. So for you, you need to pick the right time zone based on how you work and how you kind of want to operate your schedule. Okay. The second thing is that you have to commit to a daily schedule. So my daily schedule back in the US, following the Done by One 5 pillars, is the exact same as it is for me here. I wake up and I have my morning mindset. So, what that looks like, if you've ever read the book, The Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod, it's probably one of the best books. And if you're ever in a rut, I highly suggest you read that book because it will get you out of the rut with your miracle morning. So, what mine looks like is I'm up, I do not do any work in the morning. I do meditation, I review my goals, my plans, journal. And we just joined a gym here in Barcelona. So I've been going to the gym. It was only $20 or 17 euros for the entire month. So join the gym, workout, yoga, whatever it is, but my miracle morning comes first. Okay. The second thing that I do is lead generation and my lead follow up. And here's one of the biggest things, and it doesn't matter where you are, right? A lot of people have the mistake of doing busy work in the morning, in the beginning, and they don't do anything that is income generating or income producing. And so your day needs to start with income producing activities. You need to ask yourself, who do I need to contact, or what are the income producing or income generating activities that I need to do now, and then do it, right? So you want to make sure that your day is starting with income generating activities, and ask yourself, if you're not doing that, why? Are you avoiding it? What are the things that you're avoiding? And if sometimes we get like unclear on what we should be doing, then make a list of all of the ways you can make money in whatever profession you're in, all of the ways that you can generate income, and then start to, put an asterisk next to the ones that you're going to commit to doing. After my lead generation and my lead follow-up or my income generating activities, I will then go into my sales and marketing. So what that looks like is content. It might be my LinkedIn newsletter. It might be social media marketing, going into different social media groups and commenting on other people's posts. It could be my podcast. It could be in the CRM database reactivation campaigns, text message marketing. I can go ahead and schedule out all of my emails, all of my social media posts. And that's what I'm going to show you next week on how it's all set up in the CRM. Like I said, I'm going to take you under the hood and show you what that looks like and how everything is set up. So you need to figure out in your business how you want your days set up. But this is how I have mine. And if you want to adopt mine and adopt the Done by One lifestyle and plan, this is the way to do it. Okay. So after sales and marketing comes working in the business. Why does working in the business come after all of that? Because number one, your lead generation, your lead follow-up, and your income producing activities have to come first. Because a lot of times when we start working in the business, and if we have fires, we have issues, we have deals falling apart, we have, staff that's not producing or whatever, our mindset goes down. And so we want to make sure that we are doing our income producing activities with the best mindset, right? So once we get working in the business, a lot of things can happen. And the last thing we want to do is not do the lead generation or not do the activities that got us the business in the first place. So the working in the business is going to come after. And then the fifth pillar is lifestyle. So that is going out and having fun, and doing whatever it is that you want to do. So if you think about it, from the time you wake up, especially if you time blocked, right? If you had your morning, your miracle morning, which could take anywhere, mine is about an hour. So when I'm at home in the US, I have my little pink couch. I have like this meditation area in my room, and that's where I do all of that stuff, my journaling, my meditation, my reviewing my goals, all that stuff. Here in Spain or wherever I am, I find another spot to do it. Right now it's on the couch. And then I go into my lead gen and follow up, my sales and marketing, working on my deals, and then go out and have fun, right? So those are the five pillars. If you run multiple businesses, and this doesn't even have to be if you run multiple businesses. Jill is on here. Jill's a loan officer. This would work for Jill also, right? If Jill's only business is loans, is that I have theme days. And the reason why I have theme days is because you get what you focus on. So if you are intentional about something and you're looking for something specific, and I know I'm going to get this word wrong, but it's like the reticulating activating system in your brain, right? It's kind of like if you know that you want to buy a black Porsche, all of a sudden you start seeing black Porsches, right? It's because you're looking for that. And so you want to have a theme of what you're looking for in your business. Because I run multiple businesses and have different things that I'm working on, I have a theme day for each business. So, for example, Monday is Mortgage Monday. I'm looking for loans, right? Tuesday is Done by One CRM. I'm looking for people that want to buy the Done by One CRM. Wednesday is Loan Officer Attraction. So, people that want to join my team. Thursday is real estate agent attraction, people that want to join my real estate team. And then Friday is for courses, coaching, podcasting, speaking, all of that stuff, right? So that's how I compartmentalize my business to have theme days. But if you only have one business, right, you can set it up to where Monday is purchase, right? You're looking for people that want to buy if you're a loan officer. Tuesday could be refinances. You're looking for people that need refinances. Wednesday could be home equity line of credit, for example. So think about what another day could be doing a webinar or some sort of going to different open houses or brokers opens or whatever. So having theme days will get your brain to kind of compartmentalize and have a specific theme of what it is you're looking for that day. Okay, so that's how I do my theme days. So on Monday, when it's Mortgage Monday, I'm focused on mortgage. I might have stuff to do for Done by One, but I'm not doing it, right? Unless I want to do it after I do everything for the mortgage. So all of my emails, all of my text messages, all of my phone calls, all of my outreach, all of my social media posts, everything is mortgage, Mortgage Monday, Mortgage Monday. Then Tuesday, it's on the other theme, right? And so if I have a meeting with a loan officer that wants to join my team, well, that's going to be on Wednesday. I'm going to schedule that for my loan officer attraction day. So this is how you can have theme days in your business. So now I'm going to get into a couple of travel hacks, and then we're going to talk about some automations and stuff like that. So I want to bring this up because people ask me all the time, Danielle, oh my God, how can you go away and like for that long and blah, blah, blah. So almost all of my flights are paid for with points. The Amex Platinum card, although it's expensive, in my personal opinion, It's probably one of the best cards out there. And I will send you all my referral link in an email afterwards, if you want to sign up, because you'll get points and then I will get some points too. But everything with the, yeah, you can get an Amex Platinum also for personal, and you can also get one for business. If you get one for business, it won't go on your personal credit, or it shouldn't, which is awesome, right? Because now you have a business card that you can expense, but it's not going to hurt your credit if you carry a high balance and pay it off and stuff like that. So almost all of my flights on this trip, and I've flown a lot because I flew from Miami to London, London to Poland, don't ask me why, Poland to Sofia, Bulgaria, Sofia, Bulgaria to France, Paris, Paris to here, Barcelona. I'm about to fly from Barcelona to Madrid and then Madrid back to Miami. Okay. All of those were paid for with points. My flight from Miami to London, yeah, Miami to London was 7,500 points, which is literally nothing. No, it was not business class, but I had exit row, so that's just as good. Well, maybe not just as good, but whatever. You get what I'm saying. It's still lots of legroom, right? So for me, my husband, and my son, it was 21,000 points on Virgin. So almost all of those flights are paid for with points. My flight home is going to be paid for with points. My flight from Paris to Barcelona was paid for with points. Barcelona to Madrid is going to be paid for with points. So the reason why the Amex card, and I'm going to just go through some of the benefits here real quick, is as you're racking up your points on your Amex, you can transfer those points to other airlines. You can transfer to a lot of different things. You can pay off your credit card statement. You can transfer to hotels. You can transfer for flights because I like to travel. Mine is with flights. So that is the first thing. You can transfer your points. The second thing is you have access to the airport lounges. So me, whenever I travel, I always want to go to the lounge because I'm going to get great Wi-Fi. If I'm traveling internationally, there's showers, there's couches, there's food, there's free wine, like it's all in the airport lounge. I'm sure you guys have been to airport lounges, so you know what I'm talking about, right? But we get access to over, I think, 1,500 airport lounges. So almost every single airport is going to have a lounge. So I don't have to pay for food or drinks or whatever prior to my flight, and I can sit there, relax in a quiet environment, work, whatever. You also get global entry reimbursement, clear reimbursement. You have $600 a year hotel credit. I just went in Sofia, Bulgaria. We went to a five-star hotel. It was $325. We got $300 credit on our Amex statement. And what they also do with that is they give you checkout at 4 p.m., which is awesome. Free room upgrade, which is awesome. Free breakfast for two, which is awesome for my husband and my son because I don't eat breakfast. And $100 to spend at the resort. So that is twice a year. You get this hotel credit. And it's literally, I went to the Biltmore in December. I had a giant room that's in Coral Gables with a huge terrace and everything from this hotel credit. You get $100 Saks credit. You get 5 times points in travel. You get $100 a quarter for Resi dining credit, $75 quarterly for Lululemon. There's a million other perks with this card. It is expensive. I think it's $695 a year, I want to say. But if you use the perks, it's totally, totally worth it. So the Amex Platinum card will get you into all of that and give you um, all of these perks that are awesome. Okay, the second hotel hack, right? So I know everybody talks about timeshare. They don't like timeshare. Timeshare is crazy. I don't know the point system with timeshare. But what I do know is that, first of all, my parents, I think, have like 8 weeks of timeshare in Aruba. And then they just bought another one in Bonita Springs. And I don't know where else, but they have a ton of timeshare. So this is how I know all about timeshare. So in 2003, I want to say, I bought a timeshare in Aruba for $4,000. I have never been to that timeshare in Aruba that specific week. But what the timeshare gives me is access to Interval International. And with International, I get perks for exchanges, getaways, things like this. So I was just in Paris for 2 weeks. I stayed in a two-bedroom at the five-star Marriott Disney. You can look it up. It's amazing. It sleeps six people. And I paid $399 for the entire week, right? So that's less than one night at a standard hotel. I paid $399 for the entire week. So I had 2 weeks. So if you think about it, that's $800. I also had an additional week that I gave to my cousin who came with her daughter. And I still right now have two additional exchanges that I can use through Interval. So Interval will give you all these different reasons to, for a free getaway or a free exchange. So timeshare, if you can find a cheap timeshare and get into the Interval International plan, right? That is how you can get a lot of these extra perks. So right now, and a lot of times I don't know where I'm going next because I'm waiting to see if something pops up. Right now, I'm waiting to see if something pops up in southern Spain that I can go to for a week, in a couple of weeks, and it will be through Interval, through my exchange. So that is how one of the ways, right, that you can get into cheaper hotels, but they're all nice. They're all hotels, not an Airbnb where you have to clean yourself and like you're not getting fresh towels every day. These are actual hotel rooms. I am not a big Airbnb person. So where I search for the travel deals, right, is either at the particular resort that I'm looking to. So La Cabana in Aruba, I wanted to be there. That was a resort. I went to their particular website. I found the unit for $4,000 and I purchased the unit. I do have an annual maintenance fee of $790, but you can't go to Aruba for a week and stay in a one bedroom at a nice resort for the amount that I pay, right? So the 4,000 was a one-time fee and I pay 790 a year for that. Red Week is where you can find a lot of these travel deals. So redweek.com, you can go there, you can look for units for sale and you can look for units for rent. So right now, actually, I am just thinking about this. I need to go into Red Week and see if there's any rentals coming up in the next couple of weeks for where I want to be in Spain, because you can find some phenomenal deals. I was looking on Red Week about a year ago and I found a deal where this guy, he was older, he just wanted to get rid of his week. He was not selling his week. He just wanted someone to take over his annual maintenance. It was a studio in Austria. So I asked my friends if they wanted it. If they didn't want it, I was going to take it over. They ended up taking it over and they're actually using the exchange in Las Vegas at the Marriott in Las Vegas in a couple of weeks through Interval International. Okay. So you buy through Red Week and then you sign up with Interval so that you can do all of these different exchanges. But Red Week is where you can go to look for, really good, cheap deals. My dad just got a really great deal at the Hyatt, a three-bedroom at the Hyatt in Bonita Springs. I think he paid like $2,000 or $2,400 for this week. And now all he has to do is pay the annual maintenance fee on those. Or you can rent them out, right? You can put it through the exchange and exchange anywhere in the world, or you can put it on Facebook and get somebody, to rent out your unit. So you also, the next thing you want to do before we get into our automation is you want to choose an affordable location, right? So I'm in Spain. Honestly, it's one of my favorite countries, but this is another thing that is amazing. You can get a glass of wine for $3. You can get a pizza. Last night, my son and I had a pizza that was like this big for two people, and it was 10 euro, right? So it is so incredibly inexpensive being in this location. If you go to other areas, it might be a little bit more, but I'm in Barcelona and it's probably more expensive in Barcelona than it is in a lot of other areas or parts of Spain. The next thing is meeting people while traveling. So I had joined a lot of digital nomad because yes, I'm a loan officer. Yes, I'm self-employed, but I really work from my computer. I can work anywhere, right? Which is what a digital nomad is. And if you're on this call and you work remote, well, you're a digital nomad too. So welcome to the club. So I joined all of these different meetups, digital nomad meetups. So on last Tuesday, I went to a trivia event and met these awesome people. The people on my team were from Serbia, Italy, California, Santa Barbara, California, and where was the other one? Canada. And then it was us. And we were in this trivia. We lost, unfortunately, but it was a great way to get out and meet people. Tonight, I'm going to a business networking meeting at like this five-star hotel that I found on Meetup. Saturday, there's a pickleball tournament for beginners where we can take a class and play pickleball or paddleball, whatever one it is. So if you want to go and surround yourself with other people and meet other people and get involved in groups and stuff like that, you can find all of these at meetup.com, Eventbrite, and Facebook, and it's anywhere in the world. So that is what we are doing. We are getting out there and meeting other people and networking and stuff like that. Okay, so we're going to talk about the phone and internet. So the phone and internet, it can be tricky. When we were coming in the summer, Verizon was $10 a day, which if you're 30 days, that's $300. It's expensive. They just changed their travel plan, so $55 a month is giving me unlimited talk, text, and data in most countries. Okay, T-Mobile has the same type of thing. You can get an eSIM with AirAlo and put that in your phone. You can also use the CRM. So if you are on Wi-Fi and you have your cell phone or you're on your computer and you have the Done by One CRM app, you can call through the CRM and it's going to come up just as if it's your local number because the CRM works on Wi-Fi. So as long as you're on Wi-Fi, you can use the CRM to make your calls. Okay. And we also now have WhatsApp in the CRM as well. The next thing is the VPN. So you always need to have a VPN, right? Because a lot of the things, like a lot of the banking, like Truist, I cannot get on their website, right? UWM, I'm in mortgage, so United Wholesale Mortgage, I could not get on their website. So a lot of these other websites are not going to allow you on unless you have a VPN. So I have a Chrome extension. You just Google free VPN, mine is free. And then you go here, and I have my free VPN right here. I would click on that. And then that will say that I'm in Virginia so that nobody knows I'm sitting here in Barcelona, Spain, and I am now able to get onto any of the other websites that I need to get on through my VPN because they all think I'm in Virginia, but I'm actually in Spain. So Google free VPN, it's a Chrome extension. I do not pay for it. You can get some that, are paid, but I haven't found the need for that. Okay. So this is what we're going to go over next week. I'm going to take you guys through it right now, but because it's the two-part series, but next week we're going to really go through and look at the CRM. So here's the thing, and I talked to you guys in the beginning about Done by One and how it all got started. And I said, okay, what are the systems that I need to set up so that my business can run without me being there? And I want you guys to understand, like, you have to figure out for you and your business what systems you want set up because you can adopt mine, but I created my systems based on the things that either I don't want to do or I wasn't doing or I am not good at. So I had to take things and automate them because I was letting leads slip through the cracks. I wasn't following up with my leads. If I got a loan application and or got a lead of somebody that wanted to do a loan application and I sent them the email with the application, half the time I wasn't calling them back to see if they were going to do the application if they didn't do it, right? So I set up my CRM for my CRM to automatically follow back up with them, for my CRM to automatically send out loan applications, for my CRM to do a lot of this stuff. So, how I set mine up and how you set yours up is completely different. Where most people fail is they don't take the time in the beginning to set it up, or they try to cram the setup, right? And then just kind of go on with their work. And if it's not working, don't come back and tweak it or make the changes. I am constantly adding things to my CRM. I'm constantly fine tuning it. And in fact, I don't even want to call it a CRM anymore because it's really not. It's my business operating system. It's an AI powered operating system that is running and working for me. So you got to think about what it is that you want it to do. And then and I'm going to talk to you guys about this in the audit, right? In just a second. So we'll go through that. But so the done by one pillars, and we already went over this: mindset, lead gen and follow up, social media marketing, working the business, lifestyle. All of these, except for lifestyle, are in my CRM. Morning mindset is not really in the CRM either, but 2, 3, and 4, lead gen, follow up, social media marketing, working the business, that is what the basis is of the CRM. Okay. And so I don't need to go too much into this, into each pillar, because we already talked about it. You guys already know what I do with my morning mindset. Read the book Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod. It's awesome. But the second thing is auditing your business. This is where I really want you to take the time to think about, ask yourself, what do I do repeatedly in my business? What are do I send, if I get a loan client looking to do a loan application, right? What do I send that client? If I'm sending something to somebody, the same thing to multiple people every single time I get a new client, this is the email that goes out. That needs to be a system. That needs to be automated, right? Start to audit your business and figure out and ask yourself, what do I do repeatedly in my business? What are the repeated tasks that I do? Identify what the repetitive tasks are. You can write down every single thing that you do in a week. You can write down every single thing that you do with your client. You can write down from new client all the way to client closed, because people on here might be in different businesses, not just mortgage, right? What are those stages? What happens during each stage? So next week, when I show you guys the CRM, I set it up when it's new lead, this happens. When I send the loan application, this happens. When I send, when I move it into this stage of the process, this happens. So you want to kind of start to think about your systems. What systems do you need? Do a full audit of your business, and ChatGPT can help you, right? So you can go to ChatGPT and say, I'm looking to set up my systems in my business and also use my CRM, and I need help identifying what those tasks are that I want my CRM to do, or what those tasks are that can be automated or systematized. And then you're going to create your systems for each thing. And the awesome thing is that once you've built your systems and your automations, you don't have to build it again. You do have to tweak it. It might not be exactly what you wanted to say, or maybe your loan application link changed, or maybe your whatever changed, or you don't want to say this anymore. I'll give you another example. I used to pull credit for everybody. I'm not pulling credit for anyone anymore because it's so freaking expensive. So my clients are pulling their credit up front, right? So now I had to change the way that my initial loan application email goes out. So things are going to change. But the basis of your system and your automation will not change. You're just going to tweak it as you go along. So you want to then document the process on how and what needs to be automated. Okay. And then delegate the rest. So your CRM is a tool that can delegate, that can do a lot of stuff for you. Your virtual assistants is a tool that can do a lot of stuff for you. I had a lead call me yesterday. They called through the CRM. My AI assistant answered the call, took the client's information, suggested to the client to go online and do the loan application, told the client where to go ahead and do that, and then after the call, sent me an email with a detail of that conversation and put it in the notes inside the CRM. Okay. So, do you need someone answering the phones for you? And that might not be something you need now. That might be a down the road type of thing, but start to audit your business. What is it that you need to offload, right? Because you're either not wanting to do it, you're not doing it like you should be doing it, or it's just something you're not good at. So then, but it's something that's needed in your business. So then that it's like the book Who Not How. Who or what can do it for you and get those systems down. Okay. So the first thing is auditing your business. The second thing, once you audit your business, is looking at your lead generation and identifying what it is that you need to be doing, right? And then setting up those systems so that your business, your CRM, is actually nurturing your leads for you even while you sleep, right? So if your pipeline depends on you touching every single person every time, that is not going to work. That is not going to get you the amount of deals that you want to close. You have to complement, you have to have a system that also complements. So that personal outreach, for example, I'll give you an example. My CRM is emailing people. In fact, I got 2 loan applications this week and I got a contract from random people in my database because my CRM is constantly sending out emails, right? So they're constantly getting touched, or I'm doing a database reactivation campaign or whatever. But I also went through and identified every single client that I've closed in the last 2 years that has an interest rate at 6.875 or higher. And I am going to personally send them an email. But I am not going to go through and then send them an email immediately. What I'm going to do is go into my CRM because I might do this at, I don't know, 2 a.m. in the morning Eastern time, but it's the time that's working for me while I'm in Spain. So I can draft the email and schedule in the CRM for that email to go out. I can draft the text message and then schedule for that text message to go out, right? And make sure that they're going out in a time where I know I'm going to be available to follow up with them if, they're responding to me right away, or my AI assistant can also be responding to them as well. So audit your lead generation and your lead follow-up system. What is it that you're doing right now? Is it only you picking up the phone and calling people, or do you have email marketing campaigns going out? Do you have post-closing campaigns going out? Do you have quarterly campaigns going out? Can you schedule personalized emails? Can you schedule personalized text messages? Can you set up a database reactivation campaign? So these are ideas that I'm giving you, right? But you need to first audit what you have going on. And what I would suggest doing is, if this is something you've never done, go into ChatGPT, go into projects, create a new project, and call it your 2026 business audit. And then go through so that way every time you go back to that project, it's going to know what you're trying to do, what you're talking about, and it will help you. And just take it step by step. First, audit your process. Second, audit your lead generation. Third, audit your lead follow-up. Fourth, audit your social media marketing content creation, right? What are you doing? What could you be doing? What do you need to stop doing because it's not bringing you any money? What do you want to eliminate? So the first thing begins with the audit. Once you have the audit down and then you know what you want to be doing, then it comes into implementation, right? So then pillar 4 is your social media. What do you have? Is it consistent? Is your brand showing up consistently? I will tell you that this takes time. So whenever I do a lead generation training, I talk about 2 things. I talk about passive lead generation and active lead generation. Okay. Your active lead generation is going to get you a deal now that is picking up the phone, that is calling somebody or meeting somebody at a networking group and not just talking all about yourself. It's actually asking them questions about them, right? You're intentional, you're trying to get a deal, right? So your passive marketing is your social media, your branding. This takes time. I just now am starting to get deals from social media. This week alone, I've had, like I said in the beginning, three separate meetings with three separate people that found me online because I'm consistent. My virtual assistant is out there consistently doing stuff, but this didn't like, you don't just start posting and it happens tomorrow. It takes time to build this up. So the passive you have to do the active. It's going to get you deals now. You got to do the passive because that's going to be a longer term play. But once you get the passive going, you don't have to do the active as much, right? Because now you're generating business from your passive marketing, your LinkedIn newsletters, your social media, your webinars that you're doing, right? Your lead magnets that are out there randomly, your Facebook posts, all of that stuff. So audit your social media marketing. And the best thing about Done by One is that you can schedule it. So mine is scheduled. My social media is scheduled. You can also think about your theme days like we talked about in the beginning. So my Mortgage Monday, my Dump by One, I can go through and create a whole content calendar for 1 or 2 months or have my virtual assistant do it and schedule out all of my posts, right? So I want you to audit your social media marketing and ask yourself, am I showing up consistently? And what can I audit so that it will do it for me? Let's LinkedIn newsletter, for example. And I will tell you that I was doing this and haven't done it in probably a couple of weeks. But I had like 5 LinkedIn newsletters ready to go out, right? I did use ChatGPT. I go in my projects. I have a project called LinkedIn newsletter. So I would go in and say, okay, this is what my LinkedIn newsletter is going to be about. ChatGPT helps me write the LinkedIn newsletter. So all I need to do is copy paste it into a Google Doc, send it to my virtual assistant and have them do it. If you don't have a virtual assistant, that's fine. Every week, just go in and copy your LinkedIn newsletter and send out that week's LinkedIn newsletter. So this is called batch content, getting your content, batching it so that way you're not just recreating, something from scratch every day, right? You're scheduling everything out in advance. That will allow you to be consistent. Okay. The fifth is working the business. Now, working the business, like I said in the beginning, this comes after all of the other things that you need to be doing. When I sold real estate, the way that my schedule was set up was Miracle Morning. I was a phone prospector. I was in Mike Ferry coaching. So a lot of my stuff was prospecting, which is not fun. No one wants to sit on the phone for 3 hours a day, 5 days a week, 10 contacts an hour, 30 contacts a day. That is what I was doing with a headset and a 3-line dialer that was calling expired listings every single day, right? So did I like it? No, I absolutely hated it. But did it make me money? Yes, that's how I got all of my deals, expired listings. So anyways, that lead generation, right? That can't come after working the business because you're never going to want to do it. It's not fun. It is not things that you want to do. Sometimes the hardest things that we need to do, like the book Eat the Frog, has to be done there the first thing. And lead generation is what the majority of salespeople struggle with. And that's why your lead generation and your lead follow-up needs to come before anything else. So then working in the business is going to come last. You're doing everything to move the needle, and then you're going to be able to go ahead and get into the deal. So if you have a fire, if you have a problem with someone on your team, if you have a deal falling apart or something not closing, it's not going to affect your mindset. And this was something that was very difficult for me in the beginning to kind of grasp, because what would happen is deals falling apart. I need to jump in and save it. I need to work on that first. I can't worry about anything else. Like, da, da, da. I had to shut my brain off and do the lead gen first and then worry about the deals afterwards, right? That deal is still going to be there. That problem is still going to be there. So that would happen after. So working in the business, right? So really looking at what your process is, and using the tools in the CRM. We have DocuSign in the CRM. All of the tools that you need to run your business, aside from if you're in loans, lending pad. If you're selling real estate, you probably have Mojo Dialer because you're cold calling. If you're a phone prospector or whatever, which we do have actually a phone dialer. It's just not a three line. But your working the business is going to come after so that you still have business going on here. Because what happens is we get on that sales roller coaster where we have a lot of business, we have a lot of deals, we're all excited. And guess what we stopped doing? We stopped doing the things that got us the deals in the first place, right? So when we stopped doing the thing that got us the deals in the first place, then all of these deals that we're so excited about working on close, and now we have nothing. So we're like, oh crap, I now need to go get more deals. So I need to go out there and generate leads and lead gen. And like I'm busting my butt again over here. Now I got my deals again. I'm all excited. I stopped doing the lead gen and our income looks like this, right? And it happens to everybody. So make sure you're doing your lead gen first, your sales, marketing. That's why the pillars are in this order. And then pillar number 5 is working on the business. If you have meetings, right? I would see people, I'm going to use real estate for example. I would say, first of all, and when I sold real estate, I never went to a home inspection. Why? I'm not a home inspector. I have no idea if there's something wrong. I can't even like change a light bulb. If something's wrong with I just always think things are broken. So if something's not working, I'm like, oh, I need to buy a new one. I don't even think about the possibility of fixing it. Like it's just done. It's gone. It's, whatever. So I never went to home inspections. I can't tell you how many times I'll hear an agent complain that they have no business, but then be at a home inspection at 9 a.m. on a Tuesday. Why are you doing that? You need to be generating more leads. Don't go to the home inspection. If you really want to go to the home inspection, then schedule it later, right? So make sure that you're not scheduling meetings or scheduling appointments or scheduling things like that during your lead generation time. Your lead generation time has to be solid. So when you're working in the business, though, I want you to start to ask yourself in audit, right? What automated emails are going out during this stage? What text messages are going out? What reminders for the clients are going out? What reminders for my team is going out, right? How are you handling things? What can be automated? What can you take off of your plate? So really audit. And next week, when I go through the pipeline, I'm going to show you from new client all the way loan clear to close, but it can be in real estate, new client listing sold. It could be insurance. Every single person in a sales position has a sales cycle. So we need to get your sales cycle down and automate the things that can be automated to take a lot of that stuff off of your plate. Okay. Um, so communication systems that run themselves, and we have 6 minutes, so I'm going to go through these quickly, but your automated email updates, right? So you can have your automated email updates to your clients, to your partners, to your referral partners, automated text messages. I used to use Calendly. I now am using the calendar in the CRM. It's just I'm no longer using 5 million tools to run my business. I am only using one. Everything, you can also audit your business tools. What am I paying for that is already included in my CRM, right? Start to eliminate, start to get rid of that stuff. What follow-up and referral requests? Like, do you have an automated system to ask for those 5-star Google reviews after a deal closes, right? You want to make sure that all of this stuff is automated so that when you have a deal that closes, you're getting your 5-star Google review or your Facebook review. The next thing I want you to think about is who, not how. Because a lot of times we don't do things not because we don't want to do them. It's because either we don't know how to do them, Or we know what we want, but it's too much work, so we're just not going to put the time in, right? So, who can do these things for you? So, as you're going through your audit and you're auditing everything in your business, I want you to put next to it. In fact, it just made me think that I should probably create an audit checklist for everybody. So that way you can go through and audit your business. I can tell you the things that you should be asking. And then you can, put a little marker next to it, right? An exclamation point if this is going to be you doing it because it's something that you love doing. An X if it's something that needs to be done, but you don't want to be doing it. And then take all of the ones with X's and figure out who or what is going to do it for you. Who? Virtual assistant, someone on your team, one of your kids that you can pay, your husband that's not working, like whatever. Um, if it's a virtual assistant, right? You can hire, if you're in Done by One, we have the virtual assistants. And I do want to let you know that it's not just virtual assistants for Done by One. If you need a virtual assistant to help you in your real estate transactions, transaction coordinating, any of that stuff, we have that also, right? So start to think about who, not how. First is the audit, then we're going to implement automation and AI. So the CRM really allows me to work from anywhere. Like I said, I came up with the idea when I was in Italy because I was so sick of slaving away, always having to be back at my hotel or walking everywhere with a laptop on my back, which is what I did for many years until I realized there is a better way, and then created the whole pillars, right? So I'm no longer just reactive, and then created the CRM or the operating system to allow me to work from anywhere that can also be run, and I will show you this next week, from your cell phone. So, for example, I had a lady that came to me for a pre-approval letter this week actually. I on my cell phone went into the app. I just moved her to pre-approved and looking from my cell phone, and she got a voicemail drop, a text message, and an email. She called me back. To be honest with you, I completely forgot that the voicemail drop goes out. And I was like, hey, I sent you the pre-approval. And she's like, oh, I'm just calling you back. And I was like, oh my God, I totally forgot a voicemail drop goes out when I send them to pre-approved and looking, right? So all of that can be done. You can be sitting at a cafe without your computer and you can do it from your cell phone, right? So it can respond to leads, send messages, schedule appointments, update your pipeline from anywhere. This is what the CRM will do. So the final pillar, and I don't have my husband in this picture. I was looking for a picture quickly today, but this was in Portofino, Italy a couple of years ago. My kids are older now. But really it's building that system so that you can live the lifestyle that you want to live and do the things that you want to do, and building out your AI operating system. And I know you're probably thinking, oh my gosh, how long is this going to take? Not a lot of time. Once you know what you want to have happen, it's very easy to implement. It's what do you want? And that's what a lot of people don't know, right? It's taking the time to audit your business, understanding that you are going to have tweaks. Nothing is going to be perfect from the get-go, right? So you're going to audit your business, see what you're going to be able to automate, where you're going to implement AI, and where you're going to implement virtual assistants or other people to assist you. And you can even have, if you're a loan officer, right? Maybe it's not a virtual assistant. Maybe it's just adding that loan processor. Maybe it's adding a loan officer assistant. If you're in real estate, it could be adding a transaction coordinator, whatever it is. But until you audit your business to see what it is you need, what you don't want to be doing, what you need to delegate, what you need to automate, you're not going to know. And that's where the audit comes in. Audit and then implement automation and AI and systems, so that way you have your AI business operating system. So this is what gives me the freedom to travel. This is how I kind of do everything. I stick to my schedule. My schedule is what gives me freedom. And my CRM is what gives me freedom because I set that up in the beginning. I also use those travel hacks like the Amex Platinum card with the points so that we can travel or fly for free, basically. And then, interval with the hotels and everything else. So does anybody have any questions real quick? I do have another meeting right at 6 o'clock, which is okay. They can hop on without me. But next week I'm going to take you guys under the hood of the CRM so you can see exactly how it's all set up and like what I have going on and stuff like that. If you scroll up, and I'm going to just put this also once again. Well, if you scroll up, you'll see bf.donebyone.ai that has all of the information on Done by One. So a lot of people on this webinar are already on it, but if you're not and you want more information, you can book a call to talk to me about it to see if it will work in your business. Let me put my booking calendar in the chat. Was this helpful for anybody? Did I inspire anyone to want to go and travel? Where I'm at right now, I have a boba shop right downstairs, literally basically like downstairs. So it has been great. But anybody have any questions or comments before we hop off? And hopefully I'll see you guys next week so I can show you everything under the hood in the CRM. So no comments? No questions? Okay. Well, thank you guys. Have a great Thursday. Have a great rest of your day. And I'm going to head to my meeting right now. And then I am going to a business networking meeting in Barcelona to meet some new people that I have never met before. So thank you so much, Kimberly. Have a great day. And I will talk to everybody later. Hopefully I'll see you next week. Okay. Bye.